We are suffering.
My name is Rose McCarthy and I work for the Refugee Council. When you hear the word refugee or asylum seeker, what image do you see? Imagine a pregnant woman or a mother. How do you feel? Maybe sorry for her, maybe you'd like to help, maybe you do help. Maybe indifferent, it's nothing to do with you. Or maybe even angry with her for coming here and putting her life and her children's lives at risk when she should really go back to where she came from. Well, today we'd like you to meet the women behind the labels. Last October, over 50 such women gathered at the Leeds Playhouse. It was an event organised by the Refugee Council, the White Ribbon Alliance, the Maternity Streamers Sanctuary and the Leeds Playhouse. They came to have fun. They had their hair and makeup done, their photographs taken by Joanna Vesti, which she then used to create an amazing photo exhibition. Then they shared stories of love and loss. They talked about hardships endured, rights abused, friendships made, kindness shared. And most of all, they talked about the love that they have for their children, because mums throughout the world love their babies. Now today, 5 of these inspirational women are going to share with you a bit of their story.
I think a life of asylum seeker, someone living in a cage, and this lockdown has put extra cage on us just to be isolated. My name is Dabita Tariq. Originally, I'm from Pakistan. I have 3 grown-up children.
My name is Diana. I am originally from Bolivia. I came to the UK 11 years ago.
My name is Diago. I'm originally from South Africa. I'm a mother of 4 children. I came in this country 21 years ago.
Hi, my name is Maham from Yemen. I came to the UK 2 years ago.
My name is Piwe. I am from Zimbabwe. I am an artist by profession and by passion. By profession, I mean I am an artist by profession. That's why my bread is buttered. My role as an artist is to educate and inform. Educate and inform the community. Entertain them. Telling them stories. Reality. Reality stories through dancing. Reality stories through acting. Yes, including politics. Including abuses. Including everything. Yes, it's my right as an artist to inform the community. But by doing so, my life gets in danger. Beatings, torture, sexually abused, even killings. That's where the suffering comes. I am suffering. I am suffering trying to inform the nation. I am suffering trying to educate the community. I am suffering trying to entertain people. Yes, running away is the only option. Seeking refugee is the only option.
In 2010, I had my first job. I was 22 and I met the love of my life. In 2015, he left for 2 weeks. He came here to the UK and out of nowhere, a war broke between Yemen and Saudi Arabia. In one day, I was in a war zone and he was outside the country. He couldn't come back, I couldn't leave. There was no airport, nobody could move. It was just reality.
I came to the UK 11 years ago, looking to start a new life away from all the political problems that I had in my country. As soon as I arrived in London and I found out I was pregnant, which was the most terrifying feeling in my whole life. I remember that I claimed asylum and I was placed in a hostel for a few months. During that time, I did not feel the need to learn the language, because in a city such as London, it was so easy to find people who will just talk your own language. The difficult thing came when I went to the hospital to give birth with one of my friends, thinking that would be a few hours, so I did not need anyone to translate or anything like that. But those hours became longer and longer until they turned into days. And I remember being in the hospital for 3 whole days. And at the end of it, I gave birth to an 11-pound baby, which was the most terrifying thing. And during that time, I wasn't offered an interpreter. I had no idea what was going on. I couldn't talk to the doctors or the nurses or the midwives. The only thing I remember was this nice, sweet nurse who kept bringing me lots of hot chocolate, and she was really nice. She didn't speak my language and I didn't speak hers, but you could feel the kindness.
I am a graduate nurse and a midwife, but because I am still asylum seeker, so I don't have a right to work. But I am thankful to the organization who give me opportunity to participate as a volunteer. But still, it's not what I want to do. It's what I am getting to help to others. I still miss my own line, my own profession, who I am. Before, at least we were able to participate in the social activities, in the social groups, social gatherings. But now it's nothing. It's made us more depressed, isolated, and more left behind.
I started suffering a lot when my husband, 5-year asylum seeker, stopped because he introduced us on the system. We struggled. We didn't have anything at all, so ever. We tried to apply. We tried to do all sorts, but there was no way. We were so lost. Like there was no light for us. We didn't even know how we are surviving for the day. Not to talk about a week or time coming up. It reaches to the extent of one day it was really cold outside, snowing, and we didn't have food in the house. I didn't have gas, I didn't have electric. But by the grace of God, I have a sister called Emily. She called me and asked me if everything was okay, and I said, Emily, it's really bad. There's no electric in the house, there's no gas. I don't even know what I'm feeding my children today. I won't turn back because I want to see. And then Emily fly. She came into my house, bought electric, bought gas. And after a few days, she sat me down, said, Diako, this is getting too much. You cannot continue like this. You need to do something. You're going to end up hating yourself. You can come and join me. She told me that she was a refugee council volunteer. As I had a problem with my family, I needed to feed some money to feed my children, not to volunteer for free. And then she said to me, it's not all about money, Diako. Come with us to Birmingham and see if it will work out for you. But if it doesn't work out for you, it's not a force. You don't have to come again. And during that time, I was already starting to lose my hair. The doctors, they were saying is the alopecia because of stress, and is a occultistic calvaire. My friend took me to Birmingham, where I met so many people who were telling about their stories, what they are going through, which was very difficult for me to hear. I just look at myself and thought that what I'm going through is nothing to compare to what they are going through. And then after that weekend, Monday, I wake up, wash myself, and went to volunteer.
Right after the baby was born, I was dispersed to Leeds, where the language barrier really hit me. I find out how difficult it was to live in a country where you don't speak the language. I just get out of the house like once a week just to buy groceries. But I limited myself to stay at home, isolated myself and my daughter from everything during whole 2 years. During that time, I managed to learn some English as much as I could, just from the radio and stuff like that, because I wasn't allowed to go to college. The isolation period finished when one morning early morning, I was just taken from my bed with my child. I was taken to a detention center. I was told that my case was refused and I had to be deported. I spent a whole week in a detention center where I wasn't allowed to touch my child. Apparently, people who are just about to be deported tend to harm their children, which I find just too difficult to believe.
Yes, I am suffering. Still suffering in this foreign land. Refused asylum, destitution, homeless, no public funds. Yes, suffering. Lack of information, lack of education, lack of anything, lack of everything. This is the suffering. This is the suffering. Hospital bills. Yes, medical bills. You not working. No public funds, but there are medical fees and they need to be paid. Debtors collections. Letters coming day in, day out. Bills coming. But I'm not working. I'm only trying to seek asylum so that I stay alive.
It's very painful to go through each and every day, to see your failures. They just came and stand in front of you, and you think that these are the big barriers which you cannot cross. I had a very bad experience during this time, which made me to think about that. I am nothing. My value is not even the worth of dust. I saw a volunteer form to apply it in a hospital, and I was so happy. I filled that form and sent back to them, and after waiting 2 weeks, I got a phone call from them, and it was so impressive and so encouraging that I felt that I started breathing again. He called me again and discussed to me about the uniform, about the duty hours, my specialities, and everything. I felt myself that time like an eagle who has lost his all the hopes and he's just sitting on a cliff waiting for the last breath. And then somebody gave him an extra strength and took him on the peak to fly, to enjoy the life. I got that much strength that time, and I start waiting for that time when I will join to work.
I thought, yeah, okay, I can leave Yemen. I can't stay when there is no life. I couldn't have my dreams anymore. Everything was destroyed, and it was just fighting is not something you want to live in. And I thought I should leave. It took me so much energy to take my family out with me, to convince them that this is the right thing to do. It's never easy. People don't want to leave. They believe we all have to stay together. You can't leave your neighbors, you can't leave your friends. So many family members, you can't leave them. But I wanted life.
Where I'm from in my country, we believe that if you tell your story, people can use it against you. So we used to say you can never tell your business. Your business is your business. You can never tell it out there because tomorrow they can use it against you. So that's what I used to tell myself. But at the end of the day, I was able to talk about my feelings, even if I wasn't that openly. But a little bit I gave it out. I saw the support from these ladies, and that was it. That's how my journey started, and I became much better.
After those 7 days, I was taken to the airport. I checked in and everything, but there was a solicitor who turned out. I wasn't deported. In fact, I was put in a nice hotel for the night and then brought back to Leeds. I realized that I just had passed the most traumatic experience in my life, because my life was never again the same. I was really paranoid. I was really anxious about being detained again. During that time, I was lucky enough to come across something called the befriending service, in which I was assigned a befriender, somebody who somehow guide me the way back to the community. I had a friend out of the sudden. I just had a friend. It was a really surreal experience for me after being alone for such a long time.
After 2 weeks, I got another call and they told me that they don't need me anymore because they have enough staff. I wish somebody could see me that time, how much I was in pain that time when they told me this thing, because they gave me hope to fly again, to feel myself who I am. Suddenly they have taken my breaths out. I was so broken, so depressed. I couldn't sleep for a couple of days. I stopped talking to my friends or somebody. I did not even share to anybody. And then I got strength just to stand up, to breathe, and to feel the dream again, who I am.
After 5 months of being locked, me and my family left in one of the first flights that were leaving Yemen, and we went to Malaysia. It was the only country that you can enter without a visa for Yemenis. A few months after being in Malaysia, me and my husband got married. It wasn't the wedding I imagined. I imagined a lot. I had a lot of time to imagine it, but it wasn't. It was simple and it was lovely. I know I missed my friends being there. So much of my family wasn't there. It was in a different country, but it was our wedding and I'm so happy we had it. After the wedding, we had to find ourselves. I wasn't allowed in so many countries and he couldn't find a job in Malaysia. So we ended up flying here and there. What I remember from that is that for 3 years, my clothes were in a suitcase. I didn't unpack for 3 years.
I can't go back. I can't stay here. So what should I do? I am suffering. Depressions. Stressed. Missing my children. Missing my life. Being an asylum seeker, at times I will take it as getting in a cage, close the cage, and throw away the keys away. Yeah, no one is gonna open it for you.
I'm thankful to my counselor. She gave me a good example of what is life. I am a nail biter, persistent nail biter, and I bite it very badly. And then she told me, why don't you grow your nails of one hand? Life is like that. We cannot overcome on all the strugglings, but it's a 50-50. So it gives me hope. And again, I grow my nails. And I think so this time, I grow my nails more than the normal length. But the other hand, I am still a very bad nail biter.
After the 2 months together, I was asked to volunteer myself. So I started training to volunteer. I volunteered for a few years, up to 8 different organizations, supporting lots of people. I felt like I finally got like a purpose back in my life again. My fight to get my status lasted for a whole total of 8 years. And right after that, I was just put back again in the system, trying to look for a job, to try to get benefits together and make a CV and stuff like that, which was really difficult when you don't have the working experience you're required to. So I was pretty much pushed to use the skills that I learned whilst volunteering, which was make people happy through food. So I started my own business, which is called From Bolivia with Love. I'm very proud of that. I think there's 2 ways to a person's heart, which are food and music.
I've been everywhere with Rose McCarthy. She have took me everywhere. I give talks. I've been in Scotland, I've been in Wales, I've been in Manchester, I've been everywhere. Ask me anywhere, I've been with Rose. Since we were here and we didn't have jobs, we couldn't work. My kids never been in holiday anyway. We couldn't even travel out of country. So they were born, they will never travel anywhere. The only place they knew, it was Leeds. Volunteering, being able to help me to be able to take my children to Dales and meet people and see all sorts. It was a real mind resting. And believe me, volunteering helped me when I was lost. I was in a dark hole, but the volunteering helped me. It bring me out of that darkness and it put me in the light. I got help. I remember we went to a conference in Hull where I met Geraldine, and she's from Growing Points. Geraldine asked me my name and asked where I'm from or what am I interested on. I was telling her that I would like to be a nurse, and then she said to me they are Growing Points. It's called Growing Points, where they helped me to get the job as an apprentice, and then I grew forward to become a band 2 where I was able to work as a clinical support worker. Even my daughter, the 21-year-old, she's working as a clinical support worker now. She started like me as an apprentice and now she's a clinical support worker band 2. I always say the life is really hard. There are some times where we are in the darkness and in the dark hole, and then there's a time where we're supposed to come out of that dark hole. Even if sometimes I see my light before, it was very, very at the end of the tunnel. But the more time goes, the more I see my light coming closer and closer and closer and getting brighter and brighter. And then I believe one day I will definitely shine.
Mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. There is a light that needs to stay shined. I am that light. You are that light. Yes, you are that light. We need to stay shining. There is sufferings, but we can't suffer forever. There is hope in everything. We thank the Refugee Council. We thank the organizations, different charity organizations, Pathras, Red Cross. They have come together trying to help asylum seekers, trying to help refugees so that we feel at home. So they are holding our lights. Let them switch them on for us so that we can shine.
Me and my husband are settled down now here, and we have a tiny house. It's a lovely house. We have one son. He's 1 year and a half. His name is Sam. After so many years of not being able to work, I'm finally working as the project manager for the maternity stream. I work with asylum seekers and refugee women, and I can totally understand what they're going through.
The message I want to give this time is this. Please, before showing any dream to someone, make sure what you are showing to that person. How close is that dream to that person's heart? And if that dream will break, how much pain that person will have. I'm so thankful to the organization who are still helping us, who are there to listen, to feel our pain.
The reason why I'm talking about my husband and my partner is that I chose my ring as the object that supported me through my travels. I have this ring since 2011 and I never took it off. It's always been with me. It supports me all the time and it reminds me of who I was. That was the support I had, the support of love. I'm so excited for the future. I want to see what life will bring.
I'm always saying like I'm like a flower that is growing in the concrete, you know, like where the cars are passing. You know that there's nothing will grow there, but I am the one. I am like the flower that grows out of that concrete.
Well, I will just say to all the refugees out there to be proud of how far you have come, and just to let them know that this is not the end. You also need to be really hopeful of how far you have still to go. It's still a long way ahead, still a lot of work, but you definitely can do it. And to everyone who might be watching this video, I will just say happy Refugee Week, everyone.
Life as a person seeking sanctuary is tough. No one dreams or imagines that they will become a refugee, but sometimes it happens. People are forced to flee their country and have to try and rebuild their lives in a new one. I believe that people seeking sanctuary should be allowed to work, to use their skills to contribute, and that we should welcome and include them in our society, and then all our lives would be enriched. If you'd like to hear more stories, then contact me at the Refugee Council. If you'd like to host our Tales of Love and Loss photo exhibition, then contact Kay at the White Ribbon Alliance. I'd like to end by thanking the Migration Matters Festival for hosting us, and the Stand and Be Counted Theatre Company for their energy, passion and patience in producing this film. They've done it all for free because they felt, like us, that these stories needed to be heard. And lastly, I'd like to thank the amazing women who have taken part, who always inspire me. And I'd like to share 3 lessons that I've learned from them. 1 is never underestimate the power of a woman, the love of a mother for her child, or the ability of a woman who has suffered to help another who is suffering, because mums are amazing.